Good afternoon, fifth grade. Yep, today was a pretty nice day, and I thought we'd end with kind of something a little bit more fun today. Um, what are some things you need to survive? You know, there might be four things. Can you guys turn and talk and discuss? Yes. You guys got ideas? Ready to go? Okay, good. Yep, we need food. Yep, we need water. We need heat or fire, and we need shelter, right? Right. So yeah, we need the food, yeah, to create energy. We need the fire to use the energy to create to work with the energy. We need the water to transport the nutrients and waste, and shelter. That's a non-energy resource. You know, those have a lot in common with how the earth needs to survive, or people on the earth need to survive. They all need energy. They all need to stay warm and heat. We all need water. Water does a lot of things. And of course, we need shelter. And where do those things come from? They come from natural resources for the civilization. Anything that's naturally occurring and you need to use it can be anything that you deem that it's important to survive. You'll find those in different places in the world. May not be in the same amount, but every place has a important resource in that area. There are two classes of natural resources. There's the renewal. It'll be replaced or replenished naturally. Remember, these are all natural things that are occurring in different quantities. And then there's non-renewable. There is a finite supply in nature. There's only a certain amount, and once it's used, it's gone. The renewable sources: solar, wind, water, geothermal, fossil fuels, natural gas, nuclear, metallic and non-metallic. These are all used they're all used to create energy. Yeah, these are the types of energy. As you can see, we've got wood, waste, biomass, fuel. They're all kind of burned, but they are renewable. If you notice that we plant and replant trees, we're always producing waste and biomass fuelable. Those are renewable. We are burning any kind of waste. The ones we're going to focus on, though, are the renewable of hydropower, which is water or waves, the solar power, the geothermal, and the wind. And then the non-renewable, which we have a lot here in North Dakota. The coal is very abundant, probably the most abundant resource for power. There's crude oil way out in western North Dakota, natural gas in the same area. There's no nuclear power plants in North Dakota, but there is two in Minnesota that creates a lot of electricity. Energy production pros and cons. Now, if we're going to look at the renewable ones, we're going to stick with those four. If you look at solar, solar is very renewable. The sun's shining. It doesn't have any pollution, and it's low cost to use. But it does need sunlight, so it only works when the sun's up or non-cloudy days. It doesn't work as well when it's cloudy. Very expensive to build. And to produce enough for a whole city, it takes a lot of space. And you'll kind of, this will be kind of a theme here. If you look at the geothermal, that's heat within the earth. And we can use that to create heat for homes. We can use that for heat. We can also use it to create electricity. And of course, that's renewable, it's non-pollution, it's reliable, but it's only in certain places that you can really use it in abundance. And for city use, it's very expensive to build. And I haven't looked too much into it, but I guess it can cause earthquakes probably by digging and mining into the ground. And then we look at hydropower and wind. Hydropower, renewable, no pollution. It actually builds up water stores for certain places that when you dam it up. But when you're damming it up, you're going to hurt the wildlife. It's going to be on land. You're going to hurt the fishing. They're very expensive to build. And what happens when drought happens? Even in the Hoover Dam, the water level has dropped very far. What happens if they run out? There's no electricity for the western United States. The wind, again, is renewable, no pollution, cheap to run. Well, I wouldn't say no pollution. They're kind of an eyesore, but they don't create anything else. They're cheaply to run as long as you have wind. But again, they take up a lot of space, and they can be unreliable because you have to have an open flat land, so you're going to take up farming space. You can't really use them in cities because that deflects all the wind. And if there is no wind, the turbines aren't turning. That's where we get into the non-renewable services, like coal. Very abundant, easily burns. There is just a lot of it. And then it creates a lot of constant regular jobs from the mining, the transportation, and the delivery of it. But you're burning it. It pollutes the sky heavily. It hurts the earth because you're going to mine it, and then you get all the pollutants in the air. And it's non-renewable. We could run out one day. But then you have crude oil, which creates lots of energy, different types. You can use it to burn in cars. You can lubrication. You can build plastics out of it. There's so many things, and that creates many jobs, which has a lot of money involved in it. But then again, it's a biosphere pollutant. So then if you have spills on land, and you have spills in the water, or when you're burning in the air, you're polluting, you can pollute all those areas. So it can be very detrimental. But again, it is cheaper to use than most. Let's see, where are we at? Oh, now we're on to natural gas. Natural gas is clean. I misprinted this. It's cleaner than oil. It burns cleaner than oil. You can heat it, you can burn it, you can use it to create electricity, and it is found everywhere. But it is still pollutes. It can be explosive, and there's only so much of it to go around. And then the other thing is, it's growing in use, but it's not everywhere yet. It hasn't quite replaced it. So there's going to be some cost of changing everything to that. And then there's nuclear. Nuclear creates a lot of electricity. There's no true air pollution other than some water vapor and things in the sky and some CO2, and it's very reliable and creates a lot of electricity. But there's dangerous nuclear waste to that. There has been nuclear accidents. If you ever heard of the 3 Mile Island, had a minor as far as a nuclear. And then there's Chernobyl, Chernobyl in, I think that's in Ukraine, had a meltdown that is still unsafe to go back to because of the nuclear fallout from all of that. And they're very, very expensive to build. But they create lots of electricity. So now, what you guys are going to do is you guys are all at your tables. I want you to turn and discuss. I'm going to hand out a paper that's going to show all the pros and cons, and I want you to turn and discuss. You're going to get a couple minutes for this, and I want you to weigh in the pros and cons of each and decide as a group what's going to be best for North Dakota and Grand Forks. Now, all have their good and bad, but I want you guys to decide what it's going to look like. So, remember, renewable, non-renewable, what's abundant here already, what do we have already, what is going to be the cleanest for our area, what is going to be still cost effective. Maybe you're going to think about that because some of the ones that are going to have a lot of jobs are going to be heavily polluted, and the ones that will be expensive to build, but it won't have a lot of jobs when they're done. So the cost exchange will be different. So I want you guys to decide that. Then, after we do that, you guys are going to come up and you're going to share your ideas, and we'll just kind of say what we think. Be interesting to know what you guys find out. Well, we're all done with that. You guys had some great ideas. We all kind of had different ideas, the renewable versus non-renewable. But now, there's a 5-question quiz, just to see how much you guys were paying attention. Some of the stuff that we talked about in the lecture, some of the top that you guys discussed will be in the quiz. And so answer those, and and then when you're done with that quiz, you guys can read, and then we'll pack up for the end of the day. Great job, everybody.